So that's how we express this 10x minus 73 or 73x plus 144 over this. So that's how we express it in terms of that. So next, after we've done that, we identify the common factors. So we look at the common factors here. In our denominator, we have this part and that part, which is because we can't include this because already this is already found inside that. So it will just be x minus 4 squared like that. So when you have something like that, next it's this divided by that. So you're seeing that this x and that x cancels. We are going to remain with just this part. So it will be a multiplied by the remaining part. X minus 4 squared. So we are done with the first part. Let's move to the second part. So this divided by that. So you're going to see that one of these is going to go, and we are going to remain with just x multiplied by 1 of our factors. So plus b x multiplied by x minus 4. So we're done with that one. We go to the last part. This divided by that. So I see that this and this will cancel. So I'm just going to remain with x. So it will be x multiplied by c. So it is c x. So cx equals to, we have 10x squared minus 73x plus 144 over x minus 4 squared. So if I try and multiply on both sides by the reciprocal of this denominator here, you are going to see that this part and then that part will vanish. Let me show you what I'm saying. You have multiplied by x minus 4 squared. We also do the same this side. Multiply by x minus 4 squared. So you are able to see that this part and that part cancels. This part and that part also does what? Cancels. And they're going to remain with just 10x squared minus 73x plus 144, which is equals to x minus 4 squared plus b x minus 4 plus c x. So where we've reached now, we can either expand this, or we can even let x, or you let x to be equals to 0 here. So you let x equals to 0. So you let x would be wrong. We have okay. So when x is equals to 0, this side, this will be 0, and then this will be 0. We're going to remain with 144. So 144 is equals to, when you put a 0 here, you're going to have 0 minus 4, which is negative 4. Now negative 4 squared is 16. 16 multiplied by a is 16a. When you put a 0 here, is 0 multiplied by this part will vanish, 0, that part will vanish. So we have 16 here. We divide it on both sides like that. So here we can start with the 4. 4, how many times does 4 goes to that part? So 4 into 14, that's 3. Remainder 2, 24, it goes there 6 times. 4 into this, it's 4, which is equals to a. 4 into 36, it's 9, equals to a. So we found the value of A. So A is equals to 9. So since A is equals to 9, we can find the value of either B or C. So now how can we find the value of B? So for us to find the value of B here, we can either let this part, now here it's quite tricky. When you let X here to be equals to 4, even there, so we'll be able to find the value of C. But now for us to find the value of B, it's quite tricky. So what we're going to do is we're just going to use the ones for coefficients. With the one for coefficients. So let me just write 10x squared minus 73x plus 144 equals to expansion of this x squared multiplied by a is ax squared. 2 multiplied by x multiplied by -4, that is negative 80x multiplied by a. So it will be negative ax. Lastly, -4 squared is 16 multiplied by the a which is outside. So it will give us plus 16. We come this side, x multiplied by x squared multiplied by b is plus b x squared. This same x multiplied by -4 will give us -4x multiplied by b is -4b x plus cx. So we'll start with the coefficient of x squared. Coefficient of x squared. Coefficient of x squared. So coefficient of x squared this side is here. It's 10. We don't have n here, so we move to the other side. But remember, there's an equal sign. So we come here. The coefficient of x squared here is a, and there it's a b. So as our first equation, we move to the coefficient of x. Coefficient of x. Coefficient of x. Coefficient of x here is -73 equals to -73 is equals to the coefficient of x squared is negative. No, x is -8a. Oh, the last thing is supposed to be 16a. The coefficient of x here, we have -4b, -4b, and c. That is our second equation. Our third equation, we identify our constants on both sides. So here we have 144 as the constant. This side, 16a is the constant. And then the last one, which other constant we have here? We don't have, we only have 16a. So we divide on both sides. So we're going to start from equation 3. It's easier to find the value of a because we only have one variable. If I say x, if I say a is a variable, so we only have one variable that we are looking for there. So we divide on both sides by 16. I'm sure you already found this. We say 44 divided 16 is 9. So we found the value of a. Say a is equals to 9. Now we move to b. So we're going to use the first equation to find the value of b. So from equation 1, our a is 9 plus b. So when we take this on this other side, it will be 10 minus 9, which is 1. So 1 is equals to b. So we found the value of b. Now, having found the values of a and b, it has become easier for us to find the value of c. Now, how do we go about finding that value? It's just a matter of replacing in this equation number 2. Where there's A, we put a 9, and where there's B, we put a 1. So here we're going to have negative 73 equals to negative 8. And what is the value of A? It's 9 minus 4. And my B is 1 plus C, the one that we are looking for. So we have negative 73, which equals negative 9 multiplied by negative 8 multiplied by 9. That's right. Negative 72. Negative 72 minus 4 plus C. So negative 72 minus 4, that will give us negative 76. So negative 73 is equal to negative 76 plus C. This will take it on the other side. So this will give us 76 minus 73 is equals to C, implying that 3 is equals to C. So we found the three values, A, 9, B, 1, and C, 3. So after we've done that, it's just a matter of now rewriting the values now, replacing the values in our equation there, in our equation 1. So where there's A, we put a 9, where there's B, we put a 1, and where there's C, we put a 3. Unless there's a question. Okay. So now, if you have this, if you have 1 over x minus 1. So when you have 1 over x minus 1, you only have one factor. So this is, as you can see, this factor it's a linear. So now if I take a linear and it's one factor, it will just be equals to just A over x minus 1, which our A root. So automatically 1. Or if at all you have 1 over x squared minus 1. 1 over x squared minus 1. Is this linear? Is this quadratic? Is it a repeated root? You have to ask yourself those questions. So when you look at this, it's just the difference of two squares. So this will automatically give you 1 over x minus 1 and x plus 1. So you're seeing that now after you've expressed this into that, you're seeing that it's a linear. So it won't be a quadratic, so it will be a linear, implying that this will give us a partial fraction of A. We have two factors, this and this. So we're going to have A and B. A over x minus 1 plus B over x plus 1. That is in the case of a linear. Now, what if I thought it was 1 over x squared plus 1? So here we cannot, x minus x squared plus 1, we cannot simplify this. So this will be a quadratic. So when it is a quadratic, this will give us ax plus b plus c, whichever letter that you can think of. So but me, I will use ax plus b over this that we have here, x squared plus 1. That is in a case where this is a quadratic. 1 over x squared like this. So now when you look at this, part which is here, pay much attention. Here inside here we have a quadratic, but here this square root here tells us that it's a repeated quadratic. So mean that we have a quadratic and that quadratic has been repeated. It's a repeated quadratic. So this will be the first part inside part. So remember what we normally do when you have x minus 1 squared. When you have x minus 1 squared, this is equals to A over what is inside, the first factor that is inside. Since it's linear, it will just be like this, plus B over the second, this squared. So end there because it is x squared. So it will be x minus 1 squared to end there. So now, using the same idea, employing it on this one, which is here. So what is going to happen here is this. This will be, let me just put whatever, let me just ignore the top part. plus this. So the first part here, what is going to happen in this? You consider what is inside here. What is inside is x squared plus 1. Then since it keeps ascending, the factor keeps ascending. So now from being raised to the power 1, the next one here it will be the factor that has been raised to the power 2 up to the factor that will be equals to what we have there. But now since it's 2 there, it will just end just there. So you consider this as x squared plus 1 squared. So now after I've written that, you ask yourself, this denominator that I have, is this denominator a linear repeated root or what? Or it's a quadratic? So in this case, it's a quadratic. So when it is a quadratic, remember how we write our numerator? It will be a x plus b. We're done with this part. We move to this part, which you see. This thing that is inside, is this a linear, a repeated root, or a quadratic? In this case, this is a quadratic. So since it's a quadratic, here again it will be quadratic. So now we have used a and b. So we have to use 2 different letters here. So we're going to use c x plus d. So that's what is going to happen. So now with this that we have done, I'm sure question number 4, it will be easier for us now to solve it with that background. So when it is a quadratic, that's how you approach everything. So let's suppose we have this. Supposing we have, let's say, x over x squared. Okay, let me say plus 1 there. So this denominator here, it's a quadratic. Since it's a quadratic, it will be ax plus b over, since we only have 1, it will just end just there. I'm sure I've answered all your questions. So now let's look at question number 4. Question number 4. 5x squared plus 3x plus 6 over x squared minus x plus 3. So first thing, let's look at our denominator and our numerator. Here the highest polynomial is x to the power 2, and here it will be x to the power 3. So there is direct. We need us to start dividing. After that, we look now at our denominator. The first factor here, you are seeing it's linear. The second factor here, we don't know whether it's quadratic or it's repeated or it's linear. So we can either simplify this. So if at all it cannot be simplified, that's why we go for quadratic. So look at this part which is here. Does it have factors? X squared minus x plus 3. So here we have our product, our p as 3, and our sum as -1. So do we have factors, 2 factors? When you multiply those 2 factors, we'll get a 3, and when you add those 2 factors, we'll get a -1. 2 factors, when you multiply them, we'll get a 3. When we add those factors, we'll get a -1. So we don't have those factors. So therefore, this part will be treated now as a quadratic. So since we have 2 things, a linear and a quadratic, so we'll start with a linear. How do we express a linear? So this will be a over linear to just be x plus. Now this is a quadratic. So it will be bx plus c over x squared minus x plus 3, like that. After we've done that, the next thing is find the common denominator. So we have x squared minus x plus 3. This divide by that, we'll get a multiplied by x squared minus x plus 3. This divide by that, this will cancel, we're just going to remain with x this side. So it will be plus, open bracket, bx plus c multiplied by x. This is equal to 5x squared plus 3x plus 6 over x squared minus x plus 3. So when you cross multiply here, when you multiply both sides, when you multiply on both sides by the reciprocal of this, you are going to discover that this part will vanish, even this part will vanish, leaving us with just the numerators, this part and that part which is there. So when you do your calculations, you will discover that this and this will vanish. You're just going to remain in the top part. So that stage you can do it yourself. So I'll just write what is going to remain. Plus 6 equals to x squared minus x plus 3 plus bx plus c, x like that. So what we have there, we can simplify everything. We can expand. A multiplied by x squared, it is ax squared. A multiplied by negative x, it is negative ax. A multiplied by 3a. X multiplied by bx squared. X multiplied by c, it is plus cx. So now, let's identify the coefficients. We start with the coefficient of the highest power, which is 2. So the coefficient of x squared. So the coefficient of x squared. The coefficient of x squared this side, we have a 5. So it's 5 equals to, this side we have a and then plus b. So that is our equation 1. Then we find the coefficient of just x. So coefficient of x, this side we have a 3 equals to negative a, and then we have plus c as our equation 2. Then the constant, we have 6 equals to 3a. That's our equation number 3. So we can use equation number 3 to find the values of a, b, c. So since you only have a here, so we divide on both sides by 3. So we could have 2 is equals to a. So 2 is equals to a. Now if 2 is equals to a, what will be the value of a, the value of b and c? So from equation 1, we'll be able to find the value of b, and from equation 2, we'll be able to find the value of c. So using equation 1, we have 5 is equals to, our a in this case is 2, put a 2 plus b. Then you collect like terms. So 5 minus 2, it is 3. So 3 is equals to b. Now let's find the value of c. C, we use this. So 3 is equals to negative, our a is 2 plus c. Just a minute. So we'll bring this side. So we have a is equals to 2.
If the rumor that's going around is true, that it's going to be a test for Mark 11/20 tomorrow.
I can find that from the picture.
Thank you.
Okay, so a is 2, b is 3, and c is 5. So we can conclude. Therefore, 5x squared plus 3x plus 6 over x squared minus x plus 3. This gives us a 2 over x plus, what is b? B is 3x plus 5 over x squared minus x plus 3. So that's our solution. X squared plus 2 over x squared minus 1. So guys, when you look at the question that is there, I'm sure you're able to see that our highest power there in our numerator is 2, and our highest power in our denominator is 2. So in that case, we can start by dividing. So when we divide this, so we do like this: x squared minus 1, x squared plus 2, like that. So x into x squared into x squared, this will give us a 1. This multiplied by this, x squared, this and this is minus 1. This and this, it will give us a 0. 2 minus minus 1, it will give us a 3. So here we're going to get a 3. So in short, we have x squared plus 2 over x squared minus 1. This is equals to 1, what we found there, plus this part here, so the remainder over this x squared minus 1. This part is equals to that part which is there. You can even prove it if you happen to do this. This you have a 1. This divided by 1, it will be this. This multiplied by 1, it will give you x squared minus 1. This divided by that is 1 plus 3. So this will give us x squared plus 2 over x squared minus 1. So this implies that this part is equals to that part which is there. So instead of us going with this part, we'll go with the second part. So I can wrap this. And let's say this is just equal to 1, that's the minute, over x squared minus 1. Yes.
But I didn't understand
How we divide it. Hmm?
Yes, and how it goes. Yes, and how it's now, how that one is now equal to 1 plus 3.
Okay, so the issue there is just maybe on division. How do we divide factors? So we have this. So if I tell you have x minus 1 divided by x squared plus x plus 1. How do we divide? So we start with this. X squared divided by x, we'll get a 1. No, sorry, we'll get x. X multiplied by x, it will give us x squared. X multiplied by negative 1, it's negative x. Then minus here, so this will give us a 0. X minus minus, so this will give us 2x. We bring down positive 1. Then 2x divided by x, it will give us a 2. Then plus 2. 2 multiplied by x, it is 2x. 2 multiplied by negative x, it's negative 2. Minus this minus this, it's a 0. 1 minus minus 2, it will give us a 3. 1 minus minus 2, this is going to be positive, so it is 1 plus 2, which is 3. So this is a 3. So this 3 that is here is our remainder. Since this is our remainder, we have found this part here as the factor. So that is the factor. So it will be x plus 2 as our factor. Now, since we have this remainder, which is here, remainder over what? This, remember here what we're doing, we're saying 2x divided by that part which is there. So even here, this 2 here, since it's our remainder, it is 2 divided by that factor which is there. So it will be plus 3 over x minus 1. So when you get this here, you multiply it with, when you simplify this piece which is here, it will give you this part here divided by this part which is here. So the same concept, we applied it on the question that I've written on the board on top here. So we're applying the same concept. We start with this. So we have x squared plus 2, x squared minus 1. So maybe you want me to rewrite this. So this part which is here, if I tell you say x squared, the next will be 0x minus 1. So this part here is the same as what is there on top. This 0x, this won't change anything, but this will give us a 0. So it will just be x squared minus 1. Then divide by, we come here, we have x squared. In between here, it's supposed to have plus 0x plus 2, like that. Then we start the process. We use this one, always we use the last value which is here. So it is x squared divided by this, we'll get a 1. So where do we write that 1? Because this, under this column, we're supposed to write the values that the values that have x. And then here, that's why we write constants. But here we found a constant. So automatically it will be just where there is a 2 there. Now, having done that, the next is to simplify this. 1 multiplied by 1, we multiply by everything that is here. So 1 multiplied by x squared, it will give us x squared. 1 multiplied by 0, it will be 0. I can even say 0x. 1 multiplied by negative 1, it will give us negative 1 like that. Then minus here.